Hello there again, Reef folks. Welcome back to Craft Aquatic. I'm Matt G. So why do I personally think that keeping reef aquariums in particular should be considered as the king of all hobbies? Well, actually, in many ways, I believe that it is so much more than the king of all hobbies, extending it to areas having to do with critical education for children and grown-ups, health benefits, appreciation for art and design, good habit development, and tangible benefits extending way beyond the hobby itself. I'll discuss all this and more in the rest of this video. Before we get started, please do take a moment to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Craft Aquatic has released an educational and entertaining reef-related video every month for the last 3 years, and I'd really love to continue on for many more. Your support means a whole lot to Craft Aquatic, so please do take the moment to help us out. With that said, let's dive into this topic. The truth is, there are a few things in this world that capture our imaginations like the living reef can. It only makes sense that as technology and education have caught up with the reality of creating such a slice of ocean in our homes, this amazing hobby has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 2 decades. Saltwater fish only and reef aquariums have become a focal point in millions of homes around the world as more and more people gain the knowledge and skills to keep their own slice of ocean in their living room, basement, hallway, out on a sun porch, or even in a dedicated building. For many, the fascination of keeping a reef aquarium in their home is the ultimate conversation piece and can provide hours of entertainment, often instantly motivating non-reef hobbyists to try their hand at their very first in-home reef system. Saying that reef aquariums are the king of all hobbies is a big statement, I know. In fact, I am a hobbyist in a few other areas as well, including hiking, camping, and exploring, playing and writing music, and even building and designing RC vehicles. I am sure all of us can relate to having many interests and investing time in those interests, as well as the reef aquarium hobby. It is a fact that hobbies in general serve to educate and entertain, often becoming the thing that define many of us beyond what we actually do for a living. I'd love to hear what some of your other hobbies are in the comments below. So let's discuss the very first reason that I view the reef aquarium hobby as being a step above so many others. When you approach even the idea to set up a reef system, you are met with the necessity to connect with a variety of subjects that are the building blocks that will eventually lead you to having that successful slice of ocean in your home. It's not simply a matter of glass box and reef creatures equal a successful reef system. You have to consider the variety of subjects that will eventually lead you to your ultimate goals, such as science, technology, art, design, biology, chemistry, physics, and some critical skills such as plumbing, carpentry, soldering, glazing. Even knowing your history and actual facts about the changing climate's effect on the world's reefs can be helpful. This is really the first point I'd like to make, that this hobby is not only about reef keeping, but arguably equally all of these other subjects rolled into one. In fact, the longer you have been in this hobby, the more you will likely agree that you have dabbled in all these different areas, often going on tangential journeys that take you to places that you couldn't have imagined going previous to setting up a reef system. The beauty of this is that you can take reef keeping in so many directions. The possibilities are really endless. This is as much a hobby for the mind as it is a hobby for your senses. So another thing about this hobby is that once you begin to soak up some or all of the skills we just mentioned, you might very well be rewarded with one of the most unique and beautiful things you have ever experienced, and all right in your very own home. Now, it is true that nerding out about reef-related topics with non-reef keepers can really kill a good conversation, but it will not be very often that a non-reef enthusiast comes over to your home, looks at your reef aquarium, and doesn't immediately begin to ask a barrage of questions. The living reef draws out the curiosity in all of us, and having a slice of ocean in your home is a totally awesome thing that many of your friends may only ever experience when they come to visit you. It is true, you may gain a reputation as a fish and coral lover, but there are worse reputations to be had. It is more likely that your friends will be very impressed, potentially leaving your home with a flicker of desire to learn more about this awesome hobby. One of my favorite things about this amazing hobby is that you can really decide how much you want to invest in setting up your very own reef system. I've had reef aquariums that cost me $200 and others that have cost me $10,000. There's a lot of misleading information out there telling us that this is primarily an expensive hobby that is only accessible to those who are very wealthy. That can be true if you're going big, but the reality is you can also go small as you want, and it does not affect how interesting or dynamic your reef is. In fact, a small pico or nano reef system can be equally or more interesting than a full-blown mixed reef. The smaller a reef is, the more we focus on the little creatures that make up your little system. You can create an environment that is specific to one or two types of coral and invertebrate, skipping the expensive skimmers, lighting, dosers, and sumps. I've personally had reefs that were vases, 5 to 10 gallon AGA aquariums, to full-blown SBS setups like the one I have today. I still run a frag system that combines parts from past setups that is just as interesting as my mixed reef display. I will put links to videos I've made about both systems in the description below. The point I'm trying to make here is don't be turned off by the really expensive designer coral, lighting equipment, high-end glass boxes. If that is your thing, cool. I have some of that stuff and love it. If you want to go the thrifty route, there is used gear, DIY, really cheap lights that will work for 80% of the coral available, and even free coral being given away if you get to know hobbyists around you. Believe me, we'd rather give away than throw away when it comes to the bread and butter coral we keep. So do what you like, how you like, for as much as you can spend. Just another reason why reef keeping is the king of all hobbies. If you are anything like me, and you probably are, there are plenty of great days mixed with a whole lot of stressful ones in our daily lives. Wouldn't it be nice if there was something your doctor could prescribe that didn't involve any pharmaceutical drugs or even leaving your home to immediately lower your blood pressure, reduce your heart rate, mitigate stress and anxiety, and just make you feel connected to the nature that we are all part of? There have been a variety of studies proving that keeping a reef aquarium, even performing regular maintenance and tasks on an in-home reef system, can reduce emotional and physical stress. Now, there are plenty of times where we are really struggling to solve a particular issue, such as an algae outbreak, sick fish, receding coral, mechanical problems, you name it. When you actually take a moment to simply enjoy your or someone else's reef aquarium and the complex underwater world contained within, your mind and body will thank you by rewarding you with reduced muscle tension, lowered anxiety, and noticeably less agitation. Some of us may find our zen in performing regular maintenance and husbandry, while others live for that moment to just sit back with a delicious snack or beverage and enjoy the fruits of their labor. It can be rewarding and healthy simply showing off your reef tank to family and friends, especially those who have never seen a real live reef tank. Either way, the emotional and physical health benefits for the reef keeper and observer alike are tangible and have been accepted to the point where reef systems are even incorporated into high-stress environments such as medical facilities, restaurants, and waiting rooms. I'm sure you've come across these examples, and if you think back, they likely helped you to relax at key moments in your life. The subject of aquariums in professional spaces leads me to another point, that the knowledge to maintain reef aquariums can lead to a lucrative career as a reef maintenance professional. This is not a choice to be taken lightly. The women and men who do this professionally have a lot more to consider than their passion for the hobby. In fact, it's possible the responsibility could affect the level of enjoyment these professionals experience being around reef aquariums. Either way, the fact is, this is one of the only hobbies where a deep knowledge for creating and maintaining reef aquariums can become an actual job that will support an entire family. I know a few talented maintenance professionals myself, and I think they would also agree with the premise of this video that keeping reef aquariums is in fact the king of all hobbies. So there are half a dozen more points that I have here on this list, but I am going to end this video with one more reason why I think reef keeping is the king of all hobbies. That reason is the pride we experience when we work hard, plug in, commit to learning something new, and finally are able to not only keep something as incredible as living coral alive, but are capable of producing an environment that allows it to thrive and grow. The knowledge we gain in this hobby extends far beyond reef keeping and arguably teaches reef keepers to be increasingly more well-rounded and patient, something that is missing in the world we live in today. Please take some time to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to Craft Aquatic and leave a comment below about why you think reef keeping is the king of all hobbies. Thank you for sticking around. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.